Hello, and welcome back to the GuildLine 6625 training video series. Today we're going to be discussing BridgeWorks, which is the software that is included with the 6625 system and is designed to automate and control all the features and functions of the system to simplify a lot of processes and take care of things such as like data logging and your mathematics and generating all your certs. So the software itself is running on a system controller, which is the laptop provided with the system here in laptop tray. And it's running on a Windows 7 platform. To install the software, it comes provided on a single installation DVD, and you just put the software into the CD-ROM and the auto run kicks up automatically and just goes ahead and starts installing. So it's quite simple. The software communicates through IEEE interface. It's National Instruments creates this device, and it's more commonly known as the General Purpose Information Bus, or GPIB. This is connected through USB in the back of the laptop, and it's connected to the back of the rack through all the devices that are running. So we're going to start the software here. The software, when it installs, shows up, of course, in your Start menu under All Programs. And if you scroll down, you'll find BridgeWorks here, and you just click on BridgeWorks. And the software will come up to the title screen here. Now, the software here says it's working offline. This happens the first time you install the software because it has not communicated with the bridge. So the first thing you will do is just rescan for the bridge, and it will search over the communication interface to check to see whether or not there is any hardware present. Of course, it locates the bridge and starts to download all the calibration constants known as coefficients within the bridge. These coefficients are actually the calibration traceability of the bridge, and is how it's actually traced back to official weights and measures. So inside the software, you have several windows for things like resistors, which are the devices inside the rack that you'll be measuring, devices that you'll connect as well. So you'll make profiles for these that define what they are. And you'll enter all of its information as its value, how you test it, and that sort of thing in here. And eventually you'll use all these resistor profiles inside a sequence window, allowing you to batch tests and run several tests in automation to save yourself having to sit there and run one thing at a time. You can set up, queue a bunch of tests overnight and let it go, and it'll generate all the results, bring them into a format that you can review and look at and see your data and generate your reports. And for example, you'll see here is a test overview. You actually have here a graph area and where it does all these calculations for you. So we'll get into this when we start running the measurements. For now, we're just going to kind of cover all the basic functions within the software. So initially, the software here, you have administrative options. This allows you to password protect some of your configuration files and that sort of thing. So you can protect from inadvertent overwrites or mistakes made by people as they're using the system. As well, you have several maintenance functions like a scanner exercise utility, which allows you to just go through and make sure that all the switches are working correctly and that kind of stuff. So this is part of your routine maintenance. So several functions inside the software for that as well. And lastly, there's a section called plugins. This is an area in BridgeWorks which allows us to create different routines and functions, and they can be customized for any application. Some examples are here, as like the verification. This is a function here that allows you to determine all the accuracy of the bridge and make sure that the bridge is still performing to full specifications. It's a fully automated sequence. You have very little manual input or intervention. It does everything pretty much for you, and that's the point of these plugins. Is they do things like calibrating SR1010s or decade boxes, things where there's a lot of manual setup, and it reduces all the time so that all the legwork is more or less done for you, so that you can optimize these processes. So I'm going through these at great length further on into the video. And they also generate a report. You see here that they'll have your results all processed here and calculated. So we'll go through a live example of this later. So essentially, this is all the basic features and functions within the software. The software essentially has many different file types within it, so you're going to find that we're going to be going through things such as resistor profile files, which are definitions of your resistors. We'll be going through some test sequence files. They are basically allow you to establish batches of tests, and especially if you run very common routine tests in your lab, then you can set these profiles for tests where you'll run them, and then they'll basically go ahead and run that sequence, and you can recall it and rerun the sequence over and over again, especially if it's a standard practice. It really allows you to exploit the semi-fixed configuration within the rack, and the fact that your resistor bank up here is typically connected to the same channel all the time from 17 to 25. Your SR1010 is always connected on the first 12 channels, and these are your working channels here, these four here, and from 26 to 32, and this is the devices you would be bringing in the lab to do your calibration work against. Having the semi-fixed configuration allows you to always save templates that allow you to not have to re-enter all this information over and over again, which is why the file architecture in BridgeWorks becomes very powerful and simplifies a lot of your steps. And there are also several types of files like test files and report files and fluke files, and they're basically just your data output after you're finished running your measurements so that you can review your results at the end, and we'll be going through those as we come across them in different measurement functions and utilities as we use them. And that concludes the basic overview of the BridgeWorks software package, and I'll see you in the next section.